Good morning, Oracles. What a great jump we had yesterday, up 5%. Now, we did have another gap that was created. Thank you, Slim, for pointing that out. We now have a gap that goes down to 724.37. So the way I'm looking at gaps right now is, we're talking about making lower lows. Now we're making lower gaps. So my big signal that I'm going to look for a turnaround, a longer stretch turnaround, is going to be making higher gaps. And right now we continually make lower gaps. So for me, it's not a bad thing. The lower we go, the more shares I'll be able to buy at a lower price, because I know we're going to do perfectly fine in the future. And we're talking, last night about Elon saying the recession could be 12 to 18 months. Things could get worse before they get better, but the best companies are going to be doing well coming out of this. And Tesla is going to be one of those companies. So for me, if we keep coming down, no big deal. But the signal for me to know when we have finally made that turn is when we start making consistently higher gaps. Now, a lot of gaps have been created lately, and it's because we are in such a bear market with volatility all over the place. That's just the nature of it. When you have this kind of volatility, you're going to have a lot of gaps get created. So when we have higher gaps and less gaps, that means we're coming into a more smooth growth of a period, and that is going to be our boom time again. So I'm paying attention and waiting for that. Right now, it's definitely not happening, but I'm certainly going to enjoy the little bounce that we had yesterday. Now, I'm starting to notice a little bit of a consolidation again, and I've noticed over the last couple of months that we, have this little bit of a bump up, and it's, our dead cat bounces. We bump up, we come down, and then we kind of level off. We bump up a little bit, come back down, and then level off. And right now, we look like we're starting to level off again. So we might end up getting, as we said, going into the June CPI, we might see a little bit of a rally and sideways trading right now, a little bit of a bump up, and then a drop off again. Now, I am predicting that the June drop off will be the bottom for the year. And at that point, we'll probably start to see those higher gaps being created. Again, I don't know, I can't predict the future, but that's where I'm kind of seeing things going right now. And I will, of course, continue monitoring this as we go forward, just to make sure we're tracking on this path along the way. So now, the other day, Elon had his all-in podcast. It was amazing. And it's great to see Elon so happy and jovial. And you can always tell basically how comfortable Elon feels with the interviewer, because of his mood. He was joking around, dropping F-bombs, just really having a great time conversation with these guys, and it was a great interview. We didn't get a lot of great new information out of this, but just to kind of see, for me, a lot of times I take body language from it, and his body language for the things that they were talking about definitely showed his passion for everything that he's striving for right now. They talked about Twitter a lot. And it kind of seems like what we're going through right now is, Elon's thoughts of, is it worth fixing Twitter or just starting something from scratch? But he kind of related to, over in China they have WeChat, which is like PayPal and Twitter and a bunch of other social media combined all in one. And he said, we really need something like that here in the US. And so that's kind of what he's trying to do. And it seems to me like he was trying to take on Twitter and turn it into that. But if the Twitter fixing solution is going to be, almost impossible or not worth doing, maybe he's going to scrap it and create his own. Again, I don't think it's a bad idea. I think this is going to be very beneficial in the long run. And think about it. Let's say you're driving your Tesla, you've got your robo-taxi, and you're like, oh, I want to do all these things on my Tesla app store, and WeChat or whatever he chooses, maybe it's going to be XChat, is going to be, what comes out of this. And it's all integrated into Tesla. So yes, all of Elon's companies right now don't technically work well with each other, but they do. Elon says they have all different investors, so lumping it all under one umbrella wouldn't make sense, but they really do help each other out. So if he had something like an XChat, it would make total sense for him to do that and have that integrated into the Tesla whole ecosystem that they have. And so my feelings on it all are, if Elon doesn't end up buying Twitter, I have a feeling he's going to create his own and make this whole thing come to life, because to him, this is a very important piece, and Elon doesn't really let things go like this. So, and then it goes back to, another question we had of, would Elon think about buying other companies? He said in a previous interview he would not. And, this just really reiterates and answers that question of, he's not going to take someone else's problems and buy them and pay to fix them. It's better for them to just create their own system from the ground up and go that way. So again, when we're looking at a potential recession coming on, maybe an automotive maker goes bankrupt, would, Tesla take on that baggage? Absolutely not. They will just fall to the wayside, crash and burn, and then whatever, pieces are left over, Tesla will pick up with their own ecosystem. And Elon did speak a bit about FSD, saying, by the end of the year, we should have 1 million people on FSD beta, which he relates to, Google, and how do they get, their algorithms as good as they are and learning so well and so fast. It's all human-driven learning. That's all it is so many people are using Google that the system can just learn that much faster. That's what's going to end up happening with FSD. The more humans that are using it, the faster it's going to learn, and this is where Dojo comes in. They're going to have Dojo being able to take all of this data that comes in from all of this human information and plug it in and make it that much better, that much faster. So looking at how Google has progressed over the last decade, because more and more people are using it, the same thing is going to happen with FSD. It's going to grow massively and exponentially because more and more people are going to use it. They have more and more data coming in that Tesla can use to in turn make themselves smarter and better in the future, whereas other companies do not have this. This is why Google has separated themselves so much from like the Yahoos and the, the Jeeves of the world. So they're so much further ahead because they have this data coming in. Tesla's going to have the same exact thing. This is why they're going to be able to run away with FSD and robotaxis in the future. And Elon did announce yesterday on Twitter that AI Day number 2 is coming on August 19th. Now this is going to play very well into what my thoughts of an end of the summer rally are going on. We're going to have Q2 numbers. We're going to have the annual meeting on August 4th, where we get to vote on shares for the split. We're going to have on August 19th, AI Day number 2. And then maybe at the end of August and beginning of September, we actually get the split. So this could be a super rally into the end of the year. Now granted, in the past, AI Day, Battery Day have not been huge catalysts for the stock, but we may see a little bit of this. Maybe we come out of a surprise Q2, even though a lot of us right now are kind of setting our expectations low. So maybe we get a nice surprise out of this and we get that rally. So we'll wait and see, but it's exciting to see AI Day number 2 coming on August 19th. And they did dive into insurance a little bit, and Elon just explaining that they can have a better product because they can individualize the insurance to you versus the demographic that you are in. So you can get better individualized insurance for yourself, and they cut out all of the middlemen who are taking profits all along the way as well. So Tesla can still make the profits because they are their own middlemen, so they still make the profits on the insurance. They can charge a lot less because they don't have to pay anybody else as a middleman, and everybody wins. It's a win-win situation, and in turn, it helps create better and safer drivers because people can literally see their own actions are saving them money. People are like, okay, well, if I drive safer, I will save more money. It's a straight line right there. Whereas right now, most insurance companies are like, well, I can be the safest driver in the world, my insurance still goes up. I know for me personally, I have been in 0 accidents that I have caused. I've had 2 insurance claims that were by myself. One was because a branch fell through my windshield, and the other was because my car got shot by bullets. And even the bullet one was covered by the hotel's insurance in the end anyway. But guess what? My insurance, every single year, goes up anyway, despite the fact that I haven't even had a speeding ticket in my entire life. I have proven to be one of the safest drivers over the last 23 years, and I still have to pay more and more for insurance. So I'm really looking forward to be able to getting my Tesla, and hopefully I'll be able to get Tesla insurance when that happens, because honestly, it's a racket, and it's nice to see that Tesla can do this, make profits, help other people save money, and make the roads safer in the long run as well. And Elon did talk about the work ethic. He was asked, hey, so are the Tesla China employees harder workers than everywhere else? And Elon, I think, answered this very well, stating that Tesla itself has a very high work ethic. Even my friend who works over at Apple says that Apple is a super high-paced environment, and Tesla is like Apple on steroids. So these people are very dedicated, but again, this is also why they have millionaires that are working on the assembly lines. These people are reaping the benefits of their own work because of what they are doing and how Tesla compensates them. So this is awesome to see. And he said that everybody across the world, but he does say that on average, the Chinese worker is going to be working harder than the other ones, just because that is their culture over there in China. And he says, it's going to be a rude awakening and a shock to the world when we see that China is going to be double or triple the economy of the United States. And this is something that Sandy Munro had alluded to in the past as well. And so people are like looking at China. We look down upon them, but you gotta respect the Chinese. I think there's a lot of negative connotation that gets put on them for a lot of different reasons. And maybe, a lot of us over in the United States who haven't actually been to China to see what goes on over there, maybe there's some things we don't see. I don't know. I've never been there myself personally. Elon is speaking obviously from a personal perspective. He's seen it. He has been there. He sees what is going on over there and what's transpiring. So, take it for what it's worth. I've never been there. I have no proof. So I'm taking Elon's word on this one. So forgive me if you don't agree. But it seems like, they are moving in the right direction. Agree with how they do it or not, they're going to end up having a much larger economy than we do here in the US, and they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. And to me, that's actually a bullish sign for Tesla over in China. Elon already said that China in the future will probably make up 25 to 30% of Tesla as a company. But when we're thinking about, some of the negative catalysts that coming from out of there, could be, maybe they nationalize and they absorb Tesla. But if China has a future growth of an economy like Elon is predicting, the chances of that happening are much more slim, because you're not going to need to do that if your economy is booming all over the place, and Tesla's just going to be a player in that economy versus something that they're going to need to take over themselves to get to that point. So all in all, get it all in, sorry. So all in all, I think this was a great interview. It was great to just see a happy and jovial Elon. So it was phenomenal to see this. I will put the link in the description below so you guys can check it out there if you haven't had a chance to watch it. It's about an hour and a half long, definitely worth it, so check it out there. If you guys have checked it out, let me know in the comments below what takeaways you guys had from it. Let me know if there's anything that maybe I missed. Share it down below in the comments. Thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate all of your support and feedback. If you have not subscribed, please do so down below. Sign yourself up for notifications. I am over on Twitter at OracleTim1. I share all of the latest Tesla news, pertinent stock market information, and all of my daily trades. Thank you so much. Have a great one.